Hello and welcome back to the Create Your Own Nancy Drew podcast from Trademark Nickerson Charms Tumblr. This week we are with somebody from Australia, and her name is
Charity. Hi.
Hey, hi Charity. What is your name on Tumblr for everybody that might want to get to know you and follow you?
My blog is theytalkofglasshouses.
Yeah, and that's just like a multi-fandom blog, or do you have like a
It's just
significant
everything.
fandom? Oh, it's everything inside
Yep.
fandoms and cool, cool. So I hope that you're okay because my friend who lives in Australia said that she lives in Melbourne, and she said that she's going back into lockdown. So I hope that you're okay.
Yeah, I'm not in Melbourne, thank goodness, but
Okay,
yeah, they've
good.
had it pretty rough down there.
Yeah, she's from Melbourne, so she would constantly say oh, we're out of lockdown and then we're going back into it, or oh, we're out of mask mandates and then now we're back into it again. And I just feel really bad because here things in the US things are really easing, and we here in
Yeah.
North Carolina, we no longer have mask mandates and we no longer have distancing. So it's to hear her saying all that when it's been well over a year, and to still have her facing that, it's scary.
Yeah,
I'm glad
definitely.
that you're okay. What part of Australia are
Yeah.
you from?
I'm from the Gold Coast, so it's kind of like a tourist capital. So we've got a lot of theme parks, a lot of beaches, that kind of thing.
Oh wow, a lot of theme parks. That's so much
Yeah.
fun. I love theme parks. Cool. So how long have you been playing the games? Has it been all your life, or did you start recently?
I started playing them when I was 6, actually. So it's been a while. Yeah,
Wow.
I actually remember the hiatus between Shadow Ranch and Curse of Blackmore Manor, which is so long ago. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I I agree. What is your favorite game? Do you have one, or do
My
you like?
favorite, it's so hard to choose. It's just so hard, but I think that it's got to be either Blackmore Manor or Haunted Carousel.
I love Haunted Carousel.
It's so underrated.
Yeah. Do you think that your love for that might come from the fact that you live somewhere where there's a bunch of theme parks around you, or do you just
I
like the
wouldn't be
story?
surprised.
Yeah.
Apparently when I was a little kid, I used to love riding the carousel at one of our local theme parks, and so that must be a part of it. And even now, I'm still a bit of a carousel enthusiast.
Yeah, and it's always fun in these games when they create a fake person that you associate with something that's massive. In this case, the Kessler and the carousel. When
Yes,
I don't think that he's
absolutely.
real, but they associate him to making a crap ton of carousels. They're making up somebody to answer the world's unknown questions. Who made the carousels, and
Yeah,
it's always funny. It's always funny. Um,
definitely.
Great. Um, my favorite game is either a tie between Crystal Skull or Last Chain of Booming Canyon. They are
They're
both
so good. Those are such good
underrated
games.
games. Especially, I think that for Crystal Skull, for me, the rain atmosphere. I love a good rainstorm, so the rain atmosphere really gets me.
Yes.
And then just Train is a freaking just beautiful game. Everything about
It's
it is quality. And
You can't even fault that game. It's just so good.
yeah, the storyline is tight. There's not really any plot holes, and the music and the scenery, and just the Midwestern vibe. Oh, it's so good. Oh.
Yes.
Have you read a lot of the books?
I used to read them a lot as a kid. I used to read the original series, and I always tried to get into because I started reading them when I was quite young, so I was really more the target demographic for the younger books, like the Nancy Drew books and stuff, but they just really weren't it. Um, but they were releasing these series, and it was 3 books that followed the same kind of storyline,
Mm-hmm.
and I really loved them growing up. But these days, I don't really read as much, but sometimes I'll throw in an audiobook, and yeah, it's just fun to have a listen.
I love a good audiobook.
Yeah.
Especially when you're taking long car rides and you can't really I can't really read when I'm riding. I used to be able to, but I can't really read when I'm riding in a car just because it's motion. So like I like a good audiobook for that, and like of course on the beach and stuff, it's really nice.
Yes.
But I've said this like every episode, but I'll keep saying it. I have read the books that are inspired by the games or whatever, but I haven't really read a lot of the ones that like don't have games associated with them, just because I want to see like what's different between the book and the game.
Yeah.
Because especially with a game like Secret of the Old Clock that combines like two different books into it, so it's really interesting. Um,
Yeah, I just listened to I think it was like the one at the Lilac Inn. Like yeah, and it was really interesting like seeing the bits of the story that they put into the game.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, and with that game being also, I think Bungalow Mystery, and then of course the first Secret of the Old Clock book. It's um, I think what it kept from Bungalow Mystery, I believe, what might have been one of the characters, and for some reason I want to say Jane Willoughby. I don't know, but they kept like one of the characters from that book, and that's like the only thing from the book that's in the game. But like that game mostly follows the first book itself. Um, cool. I don't know if this next question applies to you because I don't know what you have access to in Australia. But have you seen a lot of the books? Not the books. The like the movies or the TV shows that came out about Nancy Drew?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to like watch all of the different adaptations.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm most of the way there. So there are like four movies from the 1930s, and I've only seen three of them because I can't find access to the fourth one. Um, but like yeah, I've seen like I think all of the other ones. Like I really love the 1970s show, and then there's the one from the 90s, the 2001 movie, 2007 movie is
The Emma Roberts
amazing.
movie. Yeah,
Um,
that's a good movie.
Yes, and I've also seen the Sophia Lillis one, and
And
I've seen
that's
the
the
first
newest.
season of the CW Nancy Drew.
Yeah, that's the Sophia Lillis one is the newest one, right? Like the
Yeah,
very
I think so.
recent movie. Yeah, the one with the hidden staircase. Yeah,
Yep.
I haven't seen that one, but like the Emma Roberts movie is a religion. So
Yes.
it is quality. It is a quality film.
I think I have it like two DVDs of it. Like we bought it once and then we bought it again.
Oh yeah, it's so good. And my last kind of icebreaker question is, what other like fandoms do you associate yourself with, or like what else do you like to do besides play these games?
Well, like as for other media that I kind of consume, Miraculous Ladybug. Like, have you heard of that one?
I have not.
Okay, it's like French kids cartoon that's about these two superheroes and they're in love but kind of not, and it's really like cheesy, but it's really good.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. And like I was really into the Percy Jackson books growing up.
Yes.
Like, didn't
Oh
you
my
said
god.
you read them? Yeah.
Yes, and I just saw that there's going to be a Disney Plus series about
Yes. I'm
that
so excited.
because they like stopped making the movies after the second one, so like they're going to start over and be able to finish it. They also did that with a series of unfortunate events, which was my absolute favorite book series as a kid, and so they made like a movie, but it was the first three books, and then they didn't make anything else. But then like Netflix bought the rights to the series and finished like the series. So like I think that's going to make them a lot of money on Disney Plus, even more than they
Oh,
already have.
for sure.
I know you probably don't have it in Australia, do you?
What, Disney Plus?
Yeah.
We actually do for
You
once.
do? Because I studied abroad in Malta when Disney Plus
Yeah.
came out, and I did not have it. Like it said that it's not available in anywhere but the US, and I was like, well, dang.
N-
So I'm
Like
glad
we
that.
have Disney Plus, but we don't have like Hulu or like I don't even know like what other streaming services
Yeah,
you
you
guys have got.
have.
We've basically got Disney, Netflix, and Stan.
Yeah, Stan. Stan. My friend calls Stan like the Aussie Hulu, is what she calls it. Like she's like it's the
Yeah.
Aussie version of Hulu because it's got pretty much the same stuff on it as Hulu. Um, that's funny. So let's talk about your game. Um,
I'm so
and
excited.
I I always say like if you get stuck, just let me know and I'll try to help, or I'll give you maybe some like a lot of people have been stuck on names, so if like name is a problem, just let me know. But don't tell me the title of the game because I'm going to try to guess it at the end of this episode. Um, but for now, we'll dive into the central mystery slash plot. And with that, I
Okay.
want to know what the main mystery that she's trying to solve is. How did she stumble across this mystery? And you don't have to answer all of these. Just like these are like basic like
Mhm.
ideas. Is it historical fiction based? Is it based off of a book, or is it brand new? Now let's dive
Okay,
in.
so this isn't based off a book or anything. It's actually kind of like alluded to in one of the like junior books, but I haven't read that. But the main premise for it is base camp.
Ooh,
And yeah, like so we actually don't have like summer camps the same way that America does,
right.
because our summer break is only 8 weeks and it goes over Christmas. So we don't have like what you would typically have in America. So I'm gonna need like a lot of help with that because there's only so much research I can do. Did you ever go to summer camp?
I did. I went when I was like 12 or 13. Um, and it's very what you think it is. It's very like living in cabins and um, like lake swimming and canoeing and archery. And we also at my summer camp had a dance contest, and there was a boy and a girl that they would choose to win the dance contest because like everybody had to dance at once, and the counselors would go around and they would like tap you if you were doing bad, and that's how you would be out. So we did a dance contest, and I actually ended up winning, and so we got to go into dinner and
No
lunch and
way.
breakfast for free, or not for free, like first in front of everybody else in the camp, because we won the dance contest. Like
That's
every
amazing.
single day after that dance contest for the whole week, like we got to do that for our meals, and so that was like probably the one thing that made our camp kind of different than the generic camp, but it's very much what you think it is, like lakes and pine trees and cabins and counselors and campfires and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So by
So
base camp, what do you mean by that?
so it's like a summer camp, but like this fictional camp that I've made up, it has like more of a space and like STEM kind of theme to it.
Oh
So
yeah.
they've got like a hangar basically that has like a fake spaceship in it, so you can like run test missions and stuff. It's slightly based off of this one place that I found in, I think it's in like Alabama, um, where they have like camps there and they basically teach kids how like a space shuttle runs. But that only goes for a week. So I've just kind of made this up and it's now going for like however long camp goes. So yeah.
So it's like a summer camp, but like for space stuff. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
like we have summer camps here that are like me being like a theater kid. Like we have like theater summer camps that like we will go and we will put on a show for a week, or we have band camp where you go and you play music for a week, and you go to like band camp is more like you go to like a university and like stay in the door and like the residence halls and the dormitories and stuff, and you come together at the end of the week and put on like a concert from with your with the other kids. So like there's different kinds of camp that would probably be like close to that, but like we don't have just like summer camp. Like we got like arts camps or stuff like that. So that's cool.
Yeah.
It's
So
kind of
like
space camp.
obviously whatever I'm imagining up like doesn't really exist. So
Mm.
it's just kind of whatever I want it to be.
Yeah, and that's the whole beauty of this is that you get to kind of make things your own and change stuff as you want. So the
Yeah.
mystery is set in this space shuttle camp, or what? I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to call it, base camp. Um, what is the mystery? Is it like a theft? Or is it like a sabotage?
So like as the camp kind of starts, there's like a whole bunch of pranks that keep happening.
Oh wow!
And like some are just like minor pranks, like typical of what you expect, but some are like actually getting people hurt. And so then like Nancy kind of clues in that, oh, this isn't just kids having fun. Like someone on the staff is clearly like trying to like injure someone or like something like that. So it's more of a sabotage.
Oh nice. So she's got a sabotage. Is she working as like a counselor or like a generic worker, or is she like interning at this camp? How did she like
I
get
think
there?
that I think that she's a counselor. Like,
A
I don't
counselor.
really know what kind of positions there are, but she's just kind of there to, keep an eye on the kids
Yeah, that's
and
a counselor.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
obviously she doesn't have any like space training or anything. Like she doesn't have any like higher studies, so she's just kind of more of a general counselor
yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Come to think of it, yeah, she's never really had a game where she's had to like do space stuff.
No.
Just like talking about like aliens with like Jamila or like Sunny June, but like not actual like spaceship stuff. Except like I would, well, maybe the end of Castle Malloy, but that was a rocket. But like mine was
I
more
don't
like,
really think that counts as space
yeah,
stuff.
right, right. So like not quite like an actual like immersive like NASA thing or whatever. That's cool. So we've already said that it's set. What did you have a like a certain state in mind that it's set in, or do you know the states well,
I
or
like
like the
I
West?
kind of generally know states, but like I have no idea where this would even be set.
Because this is giving me
So like
like
if you want to pick somewhere.
it's giving me like Midwest vibes. Like
Okay.
the Midwest is like, um, gosh, stuff like Iowa or Ohio or um Idaho or places like that. So let's just, for lack of a better place to put it, say it's the Midwest. Um,
Works for me.
and so it's summertime, so it's probably hot outside, and
Yep.
it's the the mood is probably like tense because sabotage is happening and like people are pulling pranks. So everyone's probably
Yeah.
and it's
It's
modern
like
day.
tense but fun.
Yeah, tense but fun. Yeah, and it's modern day.
Yeah.
Cool. Um, so here's a good place to talk about some potential characters that could be here. So you might have other counselors or other workers or or kids, whatever. How many characters do you think you might want to have?
So I've got like rough like character outlines, but like I don't have names for them. I don't have like
Okay.
different ethnicities or anything. Like it's just very like I've got ages,
Yeah,
but
that's
like that's about it. So if you want to help me come up with some names, I would love that.
sure.
So first up, we've got like the head of the camp. So they're running the whole thing. They're like, she is like in her 30s or so, very type A, very stressed out because like obviously she's running the whole place. And when she's not doing summer camp, she's a researcher.
A
So I don't know
researcher.
if that's like academic or whatever, but yeah,
Researching about like space stuff?
yeah,
Okay. For some reason I feel like we should call her Janice. Does
okay,
Janice
I
work?
love that.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Janice is the camp kind of leader who, you know, by day is the leader and then kind of by night is like a researcher. And she
exactly.
researches about the space stuff that's happening, which would make her suspicious because she would be very knowledgeable about like how the space stuff works, how to damage it, um, or how to kind of make her way inside it if she needs to. Cool.
Yeah.
So we have Janice, 30s, leader, space freak.
And so the next one I've got, he's like the second in charge kind of person. So he's in his late 20s. He's definitely more laid back than Janice. And like he wouldn't mind running the camp. Like that's his kind of motive. Like he really wouldn't mind running the camp. So if he can get Janice kind of, shoved off like from being the head of the camp, then like he can take over.
Yeah,
So like that's his kind of motive.
that's a
Yeah, but
very
he
good.
just like so he like during the daytime he runs the little like mock space shuttle thing, and he also like is in charge of the camp at nighttime.
Yeah, awesome. I feel like he's a Tom.
Yeah, we can go with
Or
that.
Tom or Thomas one. Yeah, he's a Tom. So Tom is like, you know, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I wound up having to run this place. So, you know, we wonder like what he might do to be able to do that. Um,
Exactly.
Great. So we have Janice and Tom.
Yep. So next one we've got like just like another counselor. They're in their early 20s. She is studying she's like a master's student for climatology, so that's like weather and plants and soil and stuff. and like just taking this as more of a summer job kind of thing. So during the day, they run the rock climbing at camp, and they think that the camp shouldn't be running and it should be turned into a research kind of area. Like that's their kind of motive. Because I don't know, maybe like the campground has some kind of, environmental like significance or something.
Yeah, and a lot of people being there will take that.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's call her Emmy.
Yeah.
But let's spell it EMI.
Oh, I like that.
EMI. Yep. So Emmy is kind of like I'm just restating what you said for everybody. Kind of like the environmentalist. Do you think she's very like save the planet, or is she more like interested in like the underground stuff?
Like she definitely has that save the planet kind of like mentality, but it's also in like a like let's repurpose this for something useful, not just for like a bunch of 10-year-olds to run around.
Yeah. Right. Cool. So and Emmy runs the rock climbing, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Rock climbing is always fun. Great.
Yeah.
So we have
So
Janet, Tom, and Emmy.
yeah. So then next one we've got another counselor, early 20s again, and they're an engineering student. He runs like some basic STEM workshop, like robotics and like that kind of thing. He's like kind of obnoxious, but in like a friendly way, if that makes sense.
Like, do you mean like he's constantly like hello, 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 or is he like nasally? Do you think?
Like kind of like mansplainy. Like he just like thinks he knows more than everyone else.
Oh
And
yeah, I
like
know what the type.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's generally my experience with engineering students. So
Well, he's definitely a Brian.
yeah, I
He's
love
a
that.
Brian. He went to the J.J. Ling School of being an engineer.
Yes.
Apparently, okay. So, side note. Apparently, you can ask her about ask Endangered by Design. You can ask J.J. Ling about those books that you find in her apartment. But like, you have to do it after you deactivate the bomb. But like before you, like, so right after you deactivate, you played that game, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so after you've deactivated the bomb, like you have to go straight to JJ and talk to her about it. And I've never been able to do that, so that's interesting. I'm kind of every time I play that game, I try to trigger that just because I'm like, why do you have engineering books in your kitchen? So, but anyway, Brian is engineering guy. I know it all. Probably wears a bow tie.
Yeah, probably.
Like a plaid shirt and like khaki pants. That's Brian.
Yeah. So the next one I've got is like the chef, because like obviously the kids need to eat. So they don't actually stay on campus. They live like half an hour or an hour away. So like it's a decently easy commute for them, but they're not like on site the whole time. So I was thinking like somewhere between like 30s to 50s, like definitely older than everyone else at camp, but like yeah. I don't really have any like he or she or like anything,
I
just
think
like an age and a general
that
job description.
he should be diverse, I feel like.
Okay.
Let's
Because like
just
I didn't
call
want to make them like too shorty Thurmond. Like
yeah, let's make him diverse and let's call him Mario. Does that work?
I love that.
Okay, so he is kind of mixed with white and Hispanic, and then we'll call him Mario.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the last character, well, not like the last character, but like the last character that would probably be named would
The
be like
suspect.
the medic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they're like the nurse. They have just finished their paramedicine degree, but they want to do further studies, so they're just like working at the camp during the summer. Early to mid 20s. Yeah. I don't really have a name.
Let's make this one a female since the cook's a male.
Yeah.
Let's call her Nurse Jade.
Jade? Yeah. I like that.
Nurse Jade. Cool.
Yeah.
Did you think of any maybe phone friends that we could talk to? I always like to ask that question.
Yeah, I want Frank and Joe.
Awesome.
So in I think it was the Captive Curse, they kind of mentioned that they had like a pranking streak, like where they
Yeah,
would
we
just
were
like pull
talking
pranks
about
on
like
everyone.
yeah.
Yeah, and so like they would be great to have on board. And also, I want to bring back Ryan from the Deadly Device
Yes, absolutely.
because like she's the closest thing that we really have to like an engineer or like anyone who's kind of working in that more like STEM environment and has the practical knowledge. Like apart from JJ Ling, obviously,
Yeah.
because she's an engineer. But yeah, so I thought that Ryan could be good to like just have some questions answered.
Yeah, and she is just an amazing, fun character to begin with.
Yes.
She's one of my favorite characters, so I'm glad to hear that. Um, I I also think you can say no, but I think it would be funny to have either Sunny or Jamila as a phone friend, not because of like aliens, but just because of like space in general. I think that you should do Sunny. I think Sunny
Yeah,
would
I
be a
love
fun
Sunny.
phone friend because you're not talking about aliens, but like spaceships and like he has a bunch of spaceship drawings and like flying cow productions, and so I think that he would be a fun person to talk to. Also in
I
this,
was also thinking about having him as like a previous counselor, like a few years back, him
yeah,
being a counselor at the camp, because like obviously space,
yeah.
he loves it.
Maybe she
And
sees
like,
that and she calls him, and that's where you talk to him.
yeah,
That
perfect.
that would be great. Cool. So are those all of the characters pretty much that you thought
And
of?
then
Oh, there's one more.
yes, but like there's obviously kids at the camp. And so I was thinking about like having them there, kind of like the protesters in Midnight in Salem, like not to bring up that horrible game, but
Kind of background
like
characters.
they're there and like but Nancy doesn't really talk to them.
Yeah, they're like background characters. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you just kind of see them. um,
Yeah. So that's it.
awesome. So this next part, if you have any ideas of maybe some, if there's always been like a kind of puzzle you wanted to see in a game, maybe you can add it into this game. But if there's any maybe puzzles you thought of, go ahead and share those.
So I was just like so you know that it's like what's it called? Rush Hour? It's the one where you've got to get like the one like red brick from the other side, but you have to move all the other bricks out of the way. Like you know
Yeah,
that
like the
puzzle?
kind of her escape puzzle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually like shopping for the physical board game version of that like a month or two ago, and I found this puzzle thing called the Moon Spinner. And so it's kind of like circular and you have to move all these different moon shapes within the circle so that all the different colors match up into the moon shapes. I really don't know how to explain it, but like it's really cool and I feel like it would be a perfect puzzle. Just like kind of like a flat like 2D kind of image, but like I don't know, you just spin it and then you make the moon shapes and it's space themed.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to
And
look
then
that game.
like yeah, it's like pretty cool. It's like more of like a fidget toy kind of style game, but like yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, and maybe there can be something breaks and she has to fix it, like maybe on the spaceship or in.
Exactly.
I'm also imagining maybe there's a building that's not like a museum, but like also kind of like a museum that has a bunch of like information in it.
Yes.
Do you have one of those maybe? Do you think that might be something that we could do? Because if so,
Absolutely.
maybe we can have like she has to put like a display back together, or she has to gather information for somebody using the stuff in the museum, or um, kind of like a, I don't want to say a museum because it's in a camp, but like a kind of like an information area, kind
Yeah,
of
like
like
a
the ranger
historical
station.
corner.
Yeah, or like the ranger station in Ghost Hogs and Moon Lake, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it is probably a forest, maybe,
Yeah.
possibly. So maybe she can like get lost in that, or maybe there's like some kind of animal puzzle. Maybe I don't. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it there, but definitely
And
some
I
space puzzle, spaceship puzzle at some point.
and I thought it would be really fun to also have like some kind of like snack shop or bento box puzzle like where you can go to the cook and just like help them out a bit
Yeah.
because I love snack shop. Everyone loves snack shop, so
Oh, yeah, I love that. That and The cookie puzzle from Silent Spy are my favorite like cooking puzzles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking, so like I'll talk a little bit more about how time progresses in the game later on because
Yeah,
I know
that's
that that is like a
that's
sub like
coming
a
up. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But I was thinking every like morning Nancy could get like a text from the head of the camp with like an activity list like set up the campfire or clean this or that, and it's not detrimental to the gameplay if you don't do it, but like it's just like to get extra points for like I was thinking that there would be like some like cabin rivalry contest thing going on, so then
Yeah,
like
so you can
the
get like
counselors
an
can get
award.
points.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe it can be like an award at the end of the game. Like if your cabin wins, you get the award, like the trophy
exactly.
game. Yeah, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. And so
Yeah,
like two different cabins and two different teams.
yeah. I'm not really sure how many cabins there would be or
Okay.
anything, but like yeah,
Maybe you can also like pick from a bunch of different options for like your team name, like you did for I Will Die in Ashes. That'd be cool.
yes,
So
yes, I love
actually,
that.
the next part is passage of time, where we talk about how the order that things go. So if you want to go ahead and start with that, we can.
Okay, so like, do you want me to like start with like what happens on the first day and then like just go from there, or
Yeah, if there's also like maybe an opening like cutscene you have in mind, or like an opening like kind of like an inciting incident, maybe go ahead and talk about
yeah,
that. But like if you just want to go ahead and talk about the first day without any of that, you can too.
yeah. So I wanted to open the game with a letter because
Yeah.
isn't letters home from camp like a thing?
Oh yeah, totally, to your parents or to your friends. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I thought it would be really fun for Nancy to write a letter home, and so that kind of introduces where she is, what she's doing there, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and then have her like open with a conversation with Janice. And Janice is like, hey, camp's about to start. I need you to go do this, this, and this. And so Nancy has to do a couple of tasks around the campsite that like kind of get her more like acquainted with the layout and stuff.
Right.
And then once she's finished that,
That's a good
hmm?
idea. That's a good
Yeah,
kind of intro.
yeah. And then I was thinking like once she's done, she goes to the mess hall where like all the campers are sitting down and Janice is talking to everyone, and she kind of just gets like the end of the speech. And I don't know. I was thinking like to have an incident kind of happen, but I couldn't think of a good prank. And like, I don't know, like, is it too obvious to have a prank straight up or no?
I I think that so you said you're not sure if you want a prank that early. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Um, I think that there should be one, but like a smaller one, just to kind of set the tone of the game. But then maybe like escalate them as you go on.
Yeah.
Maybe like a boom,
Okay.
like a crash or a boom that everybody hears, or like maybe like a gunshot, something like that,
Yeah.
possibly.
But like, yeah, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yep. I'm seeing
Cool.
how that links to everything else that I've got on my notes. So,
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
you're fine.
I like
Maybe
that.
maybe like a crash or a bang or a boom or a gunshot or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like Janice kind of brushes it off and is like, "Oh, okay, like I'm sure that was nothing." And then they just kind of go along with the day. And then like Nancy can just do whatever. She's a bit curious about what that big noise was, but she's just going to keep going on with her day. And then that night, I was thinking we could have like a lunar eclipse. And so everyone's out
Wow.
like watching the lunar eclipse because like it's space camp and everyone loves the moon.
That
So,
would be
yeah.
awesome. And I think that would be really animated well too with the series.
Hmm. Yeah. So
Maybe not
then,
if it's made like Midnight in Salem, but if it's made like the other ones, it would be
yeah,
animated well.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I was thinking like while everyone's watching the eclipse, there's just like a water balloon fight that happens.
Oh,
So
that's
like
all.
you go from like the mysterious noise that everyone heard during the opening to like a water balloon fight, which is clearly like a kid's prank. Like
Yeah.
so Nancy doesn't know like throughout the mystery like what's like sabotage and what's just like a regular prank. Like so you kind of get that like confusion.
Right, like you can't tell like what the kids are doing and what the like corporate's doing.
Yeah,
Like that's like finding like a snake in your cabin. Like was that the saboteur or was it like just a kid messing around? I
exactly.
see. I see totally. I
Yeah.
totally get what you mean.
And then the second morning, like that's when, like as of the second morning, that's when Nancy can kind of go to bed and wake up whenever she wants. Like it doesn't have to be so structured. Like it's not like a
Yeah.
3-day game or anything. You can just, sleep and wake up because different people are in different places at different times. So, but I was thinking like pretty early on, the medic, what was her name? Jade.
Jade, yeah.
Jade will get poisoned.
Oh.
And so she has to be rushed off to the hospital and like isn't there.
Oh no.
So then Nancy, because Nancy's like the lowest level of all the counselors, she kind of has to take over as medic as well because she's got her first aid certificate, whatever. So yeah, then Nancy has medic duties along with whatever else she was doing.
On top of possibly having cooking duties too.
Yeah,
It's
that's more
life,
just like for
bicycle
fun.
creek all over again.
Yeah, except not as horrible, hopefully.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Um. So I was thinking that like Nancy could get like text messages whenever she's needed at the medic tent, and just has to do like a couple of like bandaging up someone's leg or
Yeah, and that
something.
could be where like the extras come in too.
Yeah.
Like the extra kids or counselors or background people, whatever, could come
Yeah.
in. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and like I've got a list of like the pranks like that I want to kind of happen like in terms of severity. So I've got like water balloons for the first night, and then the medic gets poisoned, and then there's holes in the canoes, and then there's butter on the climbing wall, which like
Oh wow.
so I have been to like school camps and stuff, and one of the funniest pranks to me is butter on the door handles to everyone's cabin. Because like you can't get into the cabin until you clean all the butter up, and obviously like butter gets everywhere.
Yep.
And I think it's really funny, but I think it would be really like dangerous to have butter on like the climbing wall because you can't grip it, and then like if you slip, then you can get hurt.
So does I guess
That
you
makes
they
sense.
wouldn't have a harness on?
Like yes, harness, but like
Not like
I don't know
a yeah.
if you're expecting to put like all of your weight onto something, like and then you slip, like
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
I get you.
yeah. And then, so there's like an observatory camp. I don't really know if I mentioned that, but there's an observatory. And so like Nancy goes into it one time and there's just like a whole bunch of like bugs or animals or something in there. Similar to like Snake in the cabin.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like obviously that's like a prank, but it's also kind of like dangerous because that's where Janice goes to do her research at night. So she goes up to the observatory.
Oh great.
And
Gotcha.
then Yeah, and then like the final kind of like incident is Nancy gets locked inside the like the mock space shuttle, and while she's in there, all of Janice's research gets stolen.
Oh no.
Yeah, so that's like kind of where the end game starts, I guess. Yeah,
Cool.
I don't know, like it's all a bit shaky, not gonna lie, but
Like,
her
no, I see
interactive.
what
If you
you're
want to
saying.
reach out and make this and make all my decisions for me, that would be great.
No, it seems more like you can kind of do stuff your own way, and it's not like a structured mystery. Like there's mystery there, but it's not like you have to do things this way, which is always fun.
Exactly.
You have
Yeah.
kind of fun activities as well, which is great. No, I
Yeah.
think that you have said more than enough. That you've thought it out really well.
Oh, thanks.
So pause at the end game sequence because now let's talk about some possible second chances if you want to. That might could happen to her. Maybe she could get bit by a snake or an animal, or maybe I think it would be cool if she's the one that's on the kayak that has the holes in it, and she finds it out, and so she has to kind of escape quick enough, or she drowns, maybe,
Yeah, I like that.
or she can get caught snooping somewhere, like in the medic's office or in maybe Janice's office.
Yeah. And like I don't know if like I'm just kind of boring for this, but I really like second chances that are kind of dumb, like when you forget to turn the iron off in Haunted Carousel.
Yeah.
And like it's just like a safety PSA. Like I really like those ones.
Yeah.
So
That
yeah,
I
like
that one got me a lot as a kid.
yeah, same.
Yeah. Then it would cut to Paula Santos yelling at you. Oh.
Ugh.
Yeah, or there could always when she's stuck in the shuttle, that's one probably second chance.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Um so now we can talk about the end and the final bit if you want to. So go ahead and walk
Yeah.
us through the ending with the baddie. Ooh.
So I was so so Nancy gets locked inside of the space shuttle kind of thing, and the only way to open the door back up is to complete like a fake mission.
Yeah.
So she has to like go through the process of like, essentially like landing the shuttle or like sending it into orbit or whatever. Um whatever the mission is. And then once that's done, the hatch opens up, she can escape. But when she's leaving that, because she doesn't know that any research has been stolen, she runs into what's her name? Emmy, the climatologist, or like one of the other counselors. And like they just like look at the tampering on the thing, like on the space shuttle,
Yeah.
and they kind of come to the conclusion that like an engineer has done this. Like it's like not just random ripping it out, it's like fully been rewired. So they go and they find Brian, but on their way to find Brian, um, like Nancy finds his wallet and
Oh, it's not Brian.
he's like his ID in there and stuff, but he's also got like an ID card from the network, aka ATAC. So Nancy's like, "Oh my gosh, I need to call Frank and Joe." So she calls Frank and Joe, and they're like, "Yeah, he doesn't exist." So
Oh
he
no.
so they So Nancy keeps snooping through his stuff and finds out that he's taking all of the stolen research. By the way, they've worked out that all the research has been stolen at this point. um, they find out that he's stealing the research and selling it to a third party, like some other like government or something.
Yeah.
And he's ditching through the woods, but like the woods is like a big winding path, but he won't be able to be traced through it. So Nancy decides to take like the speedboat out because like I don't know about your camps, but like every time that there's a canoe thing, there's like speedboats. Like,
Yeah, that's totally
yeah.
speedboats.
Yeah, so Nancy ends up like taking the speedboat out on the lake to try and like cut him off. And so that's like a little like chase. So Nancy has to avoid different obstacles in the lake and stuff. And then she somehow manages to knock the guy out and call the authorities. And that's it.
Wow. So there's like no explanation as to who this guy actually was?
No, that all like happens in the end game letter. Like, because Frank and Joe don't know who he was. So
Wow.
like, yeah. Like I don't know if that's true out of left field or anything, but
No, that's
that's what I got.
because for all like we know, it could be somebody working for like a past corporate or um
Yeah.
it could be anybody, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Wow. That's some good stuff. Um so I'm gonna just give a generic title, which is probably not what it is, but I was just gonna say like the Space Camp Mystery or something like that. But what I
Yeah,
do
I like really struggled to come up with a title.
oh
So
yeah? Did you think of
yeah.
one? Oh cool. What is it?
Yeah, so Mischief in the Moonlight.
That is awesome. That's a great title.
Thank you.
That is better than Spice Camp Mystery.
No, but like it's really like hard to think of something, especially like quickly. So you did great. You always do great on your titles.
Well, thank you. Um, and then next we have design the cover art. What does the cover art look like?
Yeah, I really don't
Don't.
know. Like I think I wanted to have like a nighttime scene and have the moon up in like as a like a focus
Uh huh.
on the cover, but Apart from that, I don't really know.
Maybe the observatory's like big telescope, or
Yeah,
the shuttle, the woods, the water.
yeah.
Um, yeah, maybe a canoe or a kayak. Yeah, awesome. And then last question is, what kind of mood color do you associate with this game? Like, like all the games have a certain color that's like the disc color or whatever. Like what mood color do you think this game is?
Um, I really want to say like a dark blue, but I don't want it to be too close to Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. So I was thinking more of like a silvery gray for the disc.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah,
Because kind of like the Moonlight.
yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, Chastity, that was Mischief in the Moonlight. Do you have any other remarks that you were like, oh, I forgot to say that, or anything
I
like
think
that?
I covered everything, but I don't know. Like her interactive, if you're out there and you want to make this
Yeah.
game, let me know.
If you're out there listening to your Aussie fans, go ahead and pick this one up.
Yeah.
But I am glad that you are safe from COVID and all of that.
Likewise.
I would like to know though if all of if all of the rumors about all of your animals is true or not.
What kind of rumors?
I thought there's a bunch of like crazy animals in Australia, like spiders
Well,
and
yes, definitely. But also like you guys have skunks.
yeah, we
Like
do, and they stink.
that's a crazy animal.
Yeah, they smell horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stink
Yeah.
really bad. Especially if you hit one in the road and it's just laying there dead, and it starts to like because the spray of a skunk is like a fear reflex. So if they're scared, then they'll spray it to like ward off their enemies. But also like if they get killed, they get like run over by a car. Like the pouch kind of deflates. Like the pouch that has that odor in it kind of deflates. This is my skunk fact, by the way. Um, like the pouch that's got the spray in it kind of deflates, and so it like kind of seeps out. So it's really really bad. But I
Gross.
know you guys have like a bunch of spiders, which is scary. Do you have a lot of kangaroos?
Yeah, I like see them
Yeah,
all the time. There's a golf course nearby, and like when you go there, there's like 50 kangaroos at all times.
I've always wanted to see a real
Like
kangaroo.
you obviously don't go up to them because they will beat you up.
They'll kick you.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I always
And
wanted to
look,
see
I
a.
do actually sleep next to a can of bug spray, so I guess bugs are a problem. Uh,
Yeah, that well, yeah, spiders and stuff. Yeah, ugh, my gosh, so
yeah.
scary. Well, thank you for coming on this episode. I You've created a solid game, and I think that it should be made tomorrow. So get ready.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was so much fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. Um, Everybody listening, I will be back soon, and we will call it an episode. Bye.